Okay, now I've opened Photoshop on my iMac. I logged in and I opened Photoshop app, and now I can see my pictures that I took. You can delete any of these old things anytime you want, but I wouldn't do anything recent because sometimes you see other people's artwork showing up here, and it just means that that person's using the same computer, but you can't actually open other people's artwork. You'll just see this little thumbnail. But here's yours. So I'm going to click on that and it's going to open in Photoshop. So there's a lot of steps to this, and I want you to watch it once and see everything that I do. And then I want you to watch and follow along. So you could either put it on your Chromebook and watch the video, or put it on your iPad and watch the video while you are doing the work on your iMac. So now that I have it in my iMac, I want to save it to my Creative Cloud files. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to call it My Name Quad. Okay, and then I'm going to save it on your computer, and you go to Creative Cloud Files, and then you choose, it's going to be a PSD. If it doesn't show as a PSD, make sure the format shows PSD, Photoshop format, okay? So it should say Photoshop right here. And it's going to my Creative Cloud files. And now I can open it from any computer as long as I'm logged into the Creative Cloud. And I just click OK for that maximize. All right, so now what do I do? Well, I need to size this, or I need to make sure that this photo isn't too distorted. So I'm reducing it a little bit. So I press the space and command bar. When I press the space bar, I get a little hand. I can move my art around. And when I press the space bar and the command, I get a plus sign. And if I press my mouse, I can drag it to the right, or I can drag it to the left. And I can zoom in and out by holding the space and command. Okay, so I just want to show you the edges. So you want to reduce it down a little bit so you can see the outside edge. I'm using the move tool right here, and the move tool will let me resize things by grabbing the corners, or if I pull my move tool out just a little bit, it will give me a little, if you look at the top over here, if I pull it away from the corner, it turns into a little curve, and that lets me rotate. But I'm gonna actually use these corners to undistort this, because no matter how good of a job I did, I tried to get it nice and straight. It's not. If you look at the top, that's pretty straight, and the sides are kind of straight, but the bottom is a little crooked, right? It goes uphill here. So I need to make sure that everything is nice and straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I have my rulers on, and you can see the numbers up here. I'm going to do Command R to make sure I see them. And now I'm going to grab a little guideline. And to get that, you use your mouse and you go up to into the ruler and just put it in the middle of the ruler. You click and drag down to the line where you put your edge of your art, where you put that margin. So if you see that I put this straight line, you can see over here that it's a little off. So I'm going to do that with all of them. So I'm going to put it down at the bottom, and I'm just putting them both on the right side at this corner and this corner. And then I'm going to pull them out from the left ruler, and I just click in the ruler and I just press my mouse and drag it out. And I'm going to make it line up right in this one. I'm going to grab another guideline and drag it out to the line. Now they look pretty straight. The sides look pretty straight, but I need to fix these edges a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Image. Oh no, sorry, Edit at the top menus, down to Transform. And then I'm going to go to Distort. So I'm really undistorting because it is distorted, but this enables me to grab one corner at a time and move it around. So if I go down to the bottom right here, I click on that and I can move. See what I can do? I can distort it all kinds of ways. I just want to make sure that the corner of my margin that I drew is in the corner where the ruler guides go. So this is good, this is good, this is good, and this is a little off, so I'm going to grab this. Now, sometimes when you redo things, look what happens if I do it a lot. It moves the other corners out of the way, but since I'm only doing it a little bit, it should be pretty good. Okay, so now all of my corners from my margins that I drew are on the crisscross of the line. You can either click on the check mark above or double click on the picture. So if I go click, click, it also sets it. And then that little check mark went away. That's how I know it did it. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to crop it. So I'm going to crop it and make sure I'm going to use that crop tool. Remember, it's the third one down on the left. And I'm going to grab the corners and I'm going to pull them down. And I'm just going to slightly cut off the parts of the pen. Remember, I said that you had to overshoot your line. You see how you can see a little bit of the pen around the edges? And then I'm going to click the check mark or double click on the picture. You also want to make sure that it says delete crop pixels before you do that so that it cuts off all that and gets rid of it. Now, I don't need these guidelines anymore, so I'm going to go to View, Guides, and I'm going to clear them. View, Guides, Clear Guides, and they're gone. Right, now I'm going to just enlarge this so you can see. Now, if I zoom in, you can see that this is not pure black and white. You can see pixels in here, and it kind of goes grayscale. So you can see a lot of gray on here and the pencil marks. If you ever want to reduce this back to fill the frame, you press Command 0. Watch, I zoom up and I press Command 0. It zooms right back in. I want to make this pure black and white. And right now you might think it's pure black and white, but it's grayscale, which means that it shows a lot of things. It's actually in color, but because it's black and white picture, it looks like it's a grayscale. So we're going to go up and first we have to change it to grayscale. I don't know why the process makes you do it in 2 steps, but it's still like this and it's been this way since it was invented. So we go up to Image, Mode, and we change it from RGB color, or it might be CMY color. It depends. Maybe your camera took it differently, but it probably says RGB color. You're going to change it to grayscale and you're going to discard, and you can click don't show again if you want. Just click discard color. Now it's totally grayscale. There's no color hints in there at all. But now I want to change it to pure black and white. Now, some of these lines, you see these lines here, they should have been erased before I took my picture, but I left them on because I wanted to show you how you're going to clean it up after you're done changing it to pure black and white. Because you can see some pencil marks here, but you should really get as much of that off before you take the picture. Okay, so I'm going to go again to Image, Mode, Bitmap. So once I make, you can't go from color to bitmap, you have to make it grayscale first, then you go to bitmap. So bitmap is going to turn this to pure black and white. I'm going to say yes to flatten the layers. Okay. And then I want to make sure that my resolution is 150 pixels per inch. And the method should be 50% threshold. And what that does is it takes all of the lightest colors and turns them white, and it takes all of the darkest colors and turns them black. So if there's any marks like these pencil marks, it might show a little bit of it and make it black. Okay, so you're going to click OK. And now look, it's totally pure black and white. All right. So now you have a pure black and white image. And the next video that you're going to see is going to be how to clean up all this stuff. So this is how to turn it into a pure black and white. Make sure that you have saved it, File, Save. You should have already saved it as your name quad, and so it's always going to be saving. If you're not sure, you can do Save As and make sure that it's in Creative Cloud. And if I click Save, it's going to ask to replace it. You can replace it. Okay, or just click Save if it's not grayed out. So that is the first step to turn it into black and white.